Motivation, the act or process of giving somebody a reason to do something. We as creatures are driven by motivation. Everything from washing our hands to working hard to taking a shower so we don't stink. Everything that we do is caused by some type of motivation. Every single thing that we do or don't do can be traced back to a motivational root. Now today I'd like to talk a little bit about motivation, not extrinsic. I'm talking about intrinsic, getting ourselves motivated. A lot of times, at least with me, I'll start full steam ahead, I'm super excited and I go, and then something will happen. Either I don't see results as fast as I'd like, or I just kind of lose interest. But once you lose that motivational force, right? It's really tough to get started again. At least it is for me. Getting motivated is easy. Staying motivated, well, this is the difficult part that we're going to tackle today to help keep your motivational flame burning deep inside. Tip number 1 is it's all about your attitude. Attitude! Oh my God! It is your biggest motivational asset, but it can also be a motivational nemesis if you don't get it in check. How many times have you been like, all right, my attitude sucks. It needs to get better, and you start just thinking about it a little bit differently, and lo and behold, you start to feel a little bit better. Your mind is so incredibly important and valuable in the motivational process. Channeling your attitude and shifting it over to a more positive one is key to you staying motivated. Tip number 2 is focus on the reward. One of my tricks is to focus on the reward, which is actually my tip number 2. Focus on the long-range goal or the long-range outcome of you doing what you need to do right now. Sometimes we get so bogged down in doing something that it becomes monotonous and it's not fun, it's not exactly exciting, but if you can focus on what you're going to achieve, whether or not it's monetarily or just personally, it's going to do a world of good in terms of your motivational fortitude. Tip number 3 is switch it up. Have you ever heard the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat? Have you ever stopped to think where that saying actually comes from? Probably best we don't. Here's the deal. There are different ways to attack any problem or situation. A lot of times changing your method actually will revitalize and invigorate your motivational stance on a situation or process. Change your environment, modify your strategies, or ask for help. Focus on the goal, not on the way that you actually get there. Because as the saying goes, the old ancient Chinese proverb, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Tip number 4 is recognize progress. So often when we're immersed in a specific task, we are so focused on the forward or the light at the end of the tunnel, it can get overwhelming and daunting. But a lot of times what happens, if I find that I'm doing something, I'm just like, oh, do I have to do this? I'll actually just stop. And I'll actually take a look at the stuff that I've already done or I've already accomplished. And it's sometimes for me, it's motivating just to see how far I've come. And so I know that it can seem like the end of a project or the ultimate goal is far away, but stop. Center yourself, look at what you've done, and move forward. Tip number 5 is some well-placed paranoia. For me personally, one of the tools that I use to keep myself motivated and moving forward is fear, actually. Thinking that there's somebody chasing me, somebody coming after me, trying to take what I've worked for, trying to beat me, trying to basically just kick my ass. I'll tell you what, fear, for some reason, it is super motivating. Tip number 6 is never be satisfied. Satisfaction has a very close second cousin. His name is comfort. When you're satisfied, a lot of times it feels good and gets a little bit comfortable. And you're like, I'm going to enjoy this for a minute. But ultimately what ends up happening is you kind of stay in that comfort zone. Motivation has absolutely left the building. You get a little bit lazy when you get comfortable with your success. Being satisfied is sort of a relative term. For me, I know that if I'm comfortable, if I'm satisfied, that means I'm probably standing still. I need to be uncomfortable to feel like I'm actually progressing. What about you? Are you satisfied? Comfortable? Knock it off. Tip number 7 is visualize. Visualization is such an amazingly helpful tool that I use, and a lot of successful athletes and business people do in order to get their mind right. They focus, they visualize, they picture themselves succeeding, finishing the project, and the steps that they need to take in order to get there. On the flip side, daydreaming is visualization without the motivation or plan to get there. And last but certainly not least, tip number 8, which is take a break. Allow yourself the freedom to have some downtime. A lot of times as entrepreneurs or as somebody who is normally super highly motivated, you get in this motivational bubble where you don't want to actually slow down, and you fear if you slow down, you will actually stop and lose that motivation. I'm here to tell you that taking time for yourself, decompressing, and totally getting out of your situation is key to staying and keeping that fire burning. Taking time off and taking a break is something that I'm having to personally work at. It's a constant struggle because my mind is always thinking, oh, I should be doing X or I should be doing Y, when really I just need to shut it down, turn it off. And what I found is when I will actually do that, I'm a lot more productive, motivated, and happier when I come back to it the next day. Motivation, gentlemen, it's easy to get, but hard to keep. Hopefully these 8 tips will help you keep it going in the motivational right direction.